Hello, mamas. Today, I just want to talk about redeeming regret. And, when we do something that we wish we wouldn't have or wish we would have, and it has to do with somebody living, we can usually make some pretty good efforts to make that right, to redeem it. Um, maybe it's saying I'm sorry, or maybe you um, wished there was something that maybe you didn't do something you wish you had, or vice versa. So you go back to that person and you try and make that right, and that gets really tricky when um, that person is not here to be able to do that for. It gets really tricky when, like in my case, I only had about an hour with my son, of him, other than my pregnancy. After he was born, I only had about an hour. And so I've talked about that regret of not being able to talk to him. And I might have mentioned I also regretted not being able to rock him. And I shared one of the ways I redeemed that was writing him a letter. But I wanted to share a couple other things around that. Um, when I went to the mortuary to dress him, I didn't realize that I could have as much time with him as I wanted. I mean, there were some parameters there, but I didn't realize I could just go and hold him and spend time. I would have actually gone more often, but I didn't know. And so I when I realized I had that opportunity after I dressed him, I just held him and talked to him. Um, I just thanked him for, I'd written out a letter to him, but I did talk to him. I was just his body, but I believe that he knows. And so that was very healing. That was very helpful. The other thing is I would have liked to rock him at the mortuary. I don't know. I just loved rocking my babies. And so my cousin and his wife, and my husband and we donated a rocking chair to our mortuary. My cousin had buried his 14-year-old son within days of us burying baby Kevin. And they also went to the same mortuary. So we donated this rocker and put a plaque on it in loving memory of Ryan and baby Kevin. And it's so sweet to hear because this is our family mortuary. And it's pretty much in our neighborhood almost. And so I talked to a couple of the morticians there. Is that the right word? Funeral workers. And they tell me how much use it gets, and not just for mamas rocking babies or children, but a wife at the side of her husband who's passed. It's just rocking is really comforting and soothing. And so I think there's always a way, in some way, to redeem those little regrets that we have. I don't think that we should get stuck in them. And sometimes we do, the shoulds or should haves or would haves. So I would just invite you, if there is a regret that has been, just weighing on you, just kind of in the back of your mind, or maybe it's something that's right at the front of your mind, just kind of think on, okay, how can I redeem this? How can I redeem this? There is always a way, some simple way to be able to do that. I heard of one example where, and this was with someone I think it was their spouse who had died, and they had an argument before they died and they didn't make it right. And so they just wrote like I don't know what it would be called, not a contract, but they wrote kind of a commitment that I am sorry that I did that. I wish I would have said this. And I am going to try anytime I have an argument with someone, I will make it right. I won't let it sit. And so I thought, that turns something that's really painful into something that is empowering and can make life better for you and those around you going forward. So that's just some little thoughts. It's tricky, and I don't think we're meant to be burdened by these regrets. I think that we can figure out ways to redeem them. So that's just my thought for today, and I will talk to you again in a week.